El alsil sing July 7, may mitra tarklogra mutlo albira kalulaw. Committee Foreign Affairs and State Matters conduct confirmation hearing, nomination Mr. David A. Orrukem, Ambassadorial Palau to the Republic of China, Taiwan. Tiaw a nomination for appointment el Babier, el mara atangak el President Surang al Whips, el milu el mera Senate June 9, 2022. During session June 21st, tial Senate Resolution 11-78, amlodar sumrawlolela Senate, ya Senate President tamne assign ringin mertial committee. Mangaralel tial committee, lomes adru alel tial resolution, al-masadra umalut, Mr. David Orrukem, al-Ambassador Ablur Palau, al-Morablur at Taiwan. Mauriw tial assignment ta committee Foreign Affairs and State Matters. Halang akakurang manmle mre da klamle angar le tamal tokar adraira ngar al sitiang. Akla mosta tulo mo bertia digak introducer ko mam. Hal bok mre kar gide. Edigo ay slo sitial committee Foreign Affairs and State Matters ngal senator ngire avangal aling senator ngire avang rairai. Chairman ra committee Vice Chair Committee Senator Cuarte, yang area members Senator Aldabel, Florida Senate, Senator Inabol, mga limrangak. Edik acknowledge lo siya naminia obengedrel al osong, mal brick tutial rulel. Ya kumis ram asringil koram mga takro omrael, ya kor ol nga siya ringa Governor Ablurairay, yang arnya speaker Ablurairay ang umulbay mar pebira electors ang umulbay lobongel arnya protokol kora maas lobongel ang arnya imura maas korak malt ng iling kora malt medel merangak mar protokol laru ler maru dal ngartiang al mga limerngi dire kal masaka tial yor al sel tial blay matial val ganil ngarapap dire kal masaka haleklut el continue tial kor sodela history tial pnamomre introduction or biklat masera ngutial ngara la committee Foreign Affairs and State Matters got tukol lururnya milu sulmora namini ngar alela committee tirtria namini momlogera milu sababiel morngir sera chundori el gora ulgera ul doswel gidel tialo malutka mlania henzira naminil mera committee sera July 1st el ay gagid al babiel kusad ngaramdala members ra committee el bangarel al time mang sel got el klol ngar elela committee nga ka umranga was al suguma presidenta tutki aat el Monsieur Ablur Belara Guktara Drual, ngar alela committee, el tirtringal ath, el make sure selo malut kal gukrilia president, ater sel gukngra el balongra argingal ath. Maultur sel lomnalt kela president, en direkal mlarngia gora attached el resume ang karubak. Ngar alela committee mi singal naminil morabuay wasinggang mlarge namgarang matya malokrok rabier ora resume ngi mak ndak por al serro giling mulmode ka memory tial recording ergid de koradi mo highlight a bebira a close to telel giret al momes agot te kadmora sel while skole lang karubak. Okay. Nga tilob dra Palau High School ra 1982. Tilob dra Blur Vela mora Blura Wisconsin. Gilua Associate Degree in Business Management in 1985. 1994, ngilo a Bachelor of Science in Public Administration and minor in Economics from the University of Wisconsin in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Direkal mlarngia bebida training silblal attend from 1995 through 1997. I got diplomatic training. I'll conduct the United States Foreign Service Institute in Arlington, Virginia. Specifically in Blomasa, I get while our rights, malum understanding our foreign service officers. Foreign service officers tirgal adal waloriolom tebluril kera bebirablu. Aigang while balduk ngara eungela do magdornya sing Vienna Convention. El bela signatory morngi tia under the framework of the United Nations. Matsumo goro amgalrara le mesa plate ramla luase diplomat. Aige kuk ngarinya while gora rights ma privilege and more aige kuk mlara embassy. Awai aige the training al blarnya ngal namini. Ma direct tokora immunity aiga direct aiga aige dol kusar was gora rights ra afforded el mora foreign service officers, tokora foreign relations, international organizations, makukura tetilela United Nations, tetilela laurio. You know, ngoto klo tu telela bodungil tirtiringala daling ngaga mdagalea personally akmal mdagalea naminin Dave Orrukem. Ngaga mle adalang rumel bay makamamadi la laurio mle sur belngara olbira rumel bay rairai. Oy melangan ya konflik nga kandi a key point el swakal bring up niya se nga ka tim la ko dangali sel side gi mla uriora al sel Ministry of State en swakal kuk mo highlight ra akuk urior blalo rule throughout his life en agumral wasing se direct help brigid al understand ra a nomination rang garobak mang nga seral tobra school mlarnya telel ku korira bebira hotel, and then he also worked in a researcher for an Indian tribe in Wisconsin, which is quite interesting. Tirga dire kal mal tuira tora syuka ngalorior makos tiakora mal interesting point edim la kutangali. But the key work experience ku kuramil tarakra the swega was Ngangamle charge the affairs at Palau Embassy in Washington, D.C. from 1994 to 2000. The regal mlaniate elel orior raguk at the United Nations as well from 1994 to 2000. During that time, and the regal ngilay gayid training ra lasing wangrada diplomat. Yauri sing ne decided return in Merbelao. Ma 2001 mo 2003 ngulurior Western Pacific International tia gombali rapport el yera shipping, but from 2003 to 2009 egidal adri gal malungil ni sen gamle principal askurairai mondiri gamlani agang steering education ya 2009 to 2014 gamle director Bureau of Marine Resources. Gadire kalong ngawalo. Yeah, 2013 to 2022, Ngamla established the Bureau of Tourism under the former Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, MRED. Akdire also kalmo highlight was saying ngamle adala from 2002 until 2022, 20 years. And they serve as chair RCTD, Ways and Means, Health and Social Welfare Committees, Vice Speaker, Edire kalme Speaker, olbirang umulbay mo. Ngoram ne gire kalkwat gibel mi isi, akula ala nat teligibel ang alak dundi, akuk meska TLM, namini berkuk po sa emerald mo opening statement terkau. Aulaw le Orrukem.
Msaule Chairman, era ko to my opening statement kung ulo pa obeng salmora at ngakal daitorio Rablo Palau Sulang Luis Junior ang presidente din miskaka aklam marang ringil nominator ngak el mora tialo ko daw postra as an ambassador mora Ablura Taiwan aklam marang suler aklam marang ringil ma nomination ringil Edirekal mga sulil la Presidenta Senate no sa bel ngutial nomination el mesa kamitira kau Mr. Whips bang alama become member sa committee motir 3 selngi akuk mo masengkantang kan sa bel nga teluro rendeak so akora malmerang asaul kum lotom tumi Israel usam la akora o ay silwasay ngakakwarang Di ako interestingly chairman yang ka entry point na Governmental Governmental mo as a diplomat makorom da sa sirwakol dos tiya ako exit point na akal tanga tumak mangay ang amo exit point na ako to as a diplomat sirakto na University of Wisconsin Green Bay akmaniyak nakablo interested na international relation. Makna apply mo ra university it's called Thunderbird University ng Arizona. And maniya professor nga kalmi transfer ma university tiga specialized na international relation. Ni akna interested rin akademi research interested rin university allow you to pick a region of the world that you become an expert in it. Makulumdas ra Asia Pacific. Mong na startup process ra apply mo rin iya kung iyo sa may spare ka ora Washington DC. Sa kita time nga ni office kita Washington DC liaison office. Mong agul mo ra 1994 actimirol economic development for the Native American tribe. Ya ulak noro loban tiri de. Senator it was the most closest setting ringin mo ra federal government, Rabulur Palau. Masarap ko bantri I did economic development, do a lot of project. E maram dala kong sa tiril, rako egal ko budget terngak. Mang ako ra nga sa experience and detail coming in maram damir ang ako at label nerve-wracking. Even though ako matang kumiwa, tayo ka nerve-wracking. Anyway, sarap ko bantri tel tribe. Helas ka President Cunyolo SM for Washington DC mo Mrs. Salobis to an upgrade a liaison office to an embassy. I accept a task. Mabusara kasi tiyang agile level 1 so I'll give you opportunity bomb. So sa gil time na mo nga wa laptop mara maktinga na Washington DC start our still upgraded the liaison office and more embassy. Kita mbadanya wala lawdora de albayot. Sometimes in lacking of training. So just through that course was a training itself. And then mo baby the early training ablo balang anyan first training diplomatic training nangin ablo balawa amnaram util education ngani tel it's a library lang. Sige dalun sparing through office at the OI lopengela Jim Morton mataptol at velam nangil training. So those were the lato diplomacy. Anyway, I worked with the liaison office and turned it into a full-fledged embassy. But then at the timing, tigel mlo DC sa gidel tama. Sel office amna ang sila state building. Yes, a state building kung team le deal more governors. So we have to move out of the office. So I have to find an embassy for Palau. Sa gidel timing hindi kan sabi dalam ara utmara para din hindi kan alarang para dalam ara utmara belau. That reciprocation need to take place. So hindi ka losi ka office space. Yeah, sige la embassy peluang para dakal bayot because every I have to come up with at least 10 places, give them to the DOI and State Department at the Chiragel Vasyo, and then narrow down the list mo 5. Aklamut lomes start el mutel ministerialista to narrow it down. For the purpose of this, tire ako ngel was oy, sabi mo lo obviously til andiak. Hindi akal dilgi del other vela decider ngayon. So, part nga na sa mga official embassy ra Palau, mo mess directly into any federal building. So, all those criteria with the lenda kalingidil basyo other boarding. So, after that, we were able to establish an embassy on M Street, and then the work began by setting up from all the get-goes of setting up an embassy. At the same time, in the Mlaka representative of the United Nations, so I have to run between New York and Palau and Washington, D.C. Not an ambassador to the United Nations, I'd have to do my accreditation every time I go. So I gave it then we start putting together a diplomatic relation training for everybody, for other Ministry of State, rukul at the Congress State Almera to diplomacy, so all that work gives me an opportunity to visit Taiwan. But then it wasn't so bad. I can do the work, although I've never worked in Asian countries. But adjustment, anywhere you go, you need to make any adjustment. But when it comes to diplomacy, diplomats, I'm comfortable learning. Makmlar say, work between UN Blue Bar. We run in those as a diplomat. We have to make sure I get policy. My interest trouble what I get becomes your interest, and it becomes your policy. Hindi ka first day. See everything else saying. You have no opinion. It's all about the opinion of your government. It's all about the policy of your government. And so, at times, I have to do work that it's not of a cup of tea, but I have to make it like I own it, and it comes from me, because it is a policy of the government. Yeah. So, say I'm say, and then you say it's never your opinion. Opinion of government, the direction of government. That's the important thing about being a diplomat. Give mablurang par the abatoka programs like the urban tourism non mo sir about the dokurit nga niya compact officiation. So I get the order was set, but to make sure that other Congress understand like we have to run corridors sa Congress to help them understand the law. Say tiyan nga FAS nga Palau. And then every time it changes sa other Congress, and we have to do that. They say, "Erabot dong oklelo misa wabe sa ikang aral bulul, malaykal makloludo, they ikal bluma magera." So you kind of have to beat them before they sit down and do that. Those are the kind of work that I do, that I did. Until I got in Washington D.C., then we work together on those. And Sir Alameng, Ambassador mga office nga kam didurut tayo until ang must be a signature, and then I bring him to those official signature. So in terms of diplomacy, tilgibul ko ra ulmo ura career na kalapang kila Governmental Palau ra takora diplomacy. What's funny is that Pura Washington D.C. about the embassy. Obviously, the status niya kakabon secretary ra embassy. Secretary ay lulis ng kotang ano position na embassy. Bringin ang secretary siya the fellow at the embassy. Para mlembering ra obviously the belal pongiringi letos and tiyak mal mga bubble title. In order for me to carry a baby rior, the embassy and get the change of the title. So part to say is although the lobang kailangan ministry kid mo have a better understanding. So then mlo sa PL mo mag-charge the affair and then TCM. Apnarsel mo sira interesting ngaringiral sa establish sa diplomatic ties sa lobang kailangan Taiwan. Ikamamel ko na Washington DC ang tinggal wasa sa kuma embassy ra Sina mer officer kami something is of a matter. Yeah. Sa the time nasabi kal dimla ka staff ra embassy akmli rosa the rong aplikaring local hire local secretarial position ng front and then eventually around her ta sila sa Aldidia Smith at kita koramle staff long available area sa embassy. Unmak naman sa kadamle established a diplomatic ties with Taiwan. I think it was Mlabes sa Rasil siring. Agi malitiro obisel ko agi bobetat tumamagim ko omesa des ko mengi so isa ba Ambassadorial sina magel antras ngi tawai technique. Unannounced, no appointment. Yeah. So I no understand that that was kind of an eye-opening. Kita have done something with Taiwan. Makas maging conference room, maging okra to say so mamalmam dengan was ngaram ko establish a diplomatic ties with Taiwan. Dimla ka ini communication no maktim ni Ayamayo and the time Gimo embassy we have an economic ties with Taiwan and then area will communicate and more Belawe and then we'll let you know was agigil kira tial omolokor ngayon. Ayun sa ndakas will communicate lang makas al time at tambiwayo. And I will not be able to welcome up to get the answer. So, akay ko neutral say, I will communicate with your office and then sige atara akamel ngiya mo embassy will communicate with. But the dimiral and the milgis next one kasi milgis pelaw agim katol may again you find out so we did establish a diplomatic relation. Tumila si Provocative President. Again, it is a prerogative of President. Adim na ilatang mga President said the minimum at least would at least warn I got outside office so we get prepared again. But again, there are times you just have to do what you have to do. Yeah. And so, the President said nawam tingin sa tigit ko na establish so work on it. And yes, that was the policy. We worked on it since then. Yeah, so I give them communicate back to them and say, yes, we have established a diplomatic ties with Taiwan. But not just that with the Taiwan. Tell the Governmental other UN, Elbong Ambassadorial because Tuesday of the second Tuesday of September is when the UN gets turned over. Mang aware say rule more UN all the matters and do a delegation in May. I'll do all the advanced team in my UN. Yeah, so when the UN team in May, then I'd have to be at those meetings. And so every before Tuesday of September, I get obviously Taiwan outside the Washington DC, New York, what is an economic office. They'll visit your office and they work with you on other matters. And so we work together with them. Indicating what you want to do, what they want me to put in our general debate to UN, but still local may, and then of course they get reported back to our government. The government together decide they'll say, so he's been that sometimes simply ask the sabiya sentence ra ansel a debate malubeng any report ng rakal wonyang tira alsel. Even that. Just their name that I need to get an approval by the President and by the Ministry of State. So that must be done. And I could have done that. They probably wouldn't have known. But then again, the integrity of the work must be Ambassadorial or Representative Ravalo, integrity, you have to have it. Di ba, stop sign om nga kir. Kung may na stop sign, di mo ral may lamang sa hindi kamlayang, you gotta come to a complete stop, emerolong. That's, if you're a serious diplomat, you must do that. You must take integrity and be part of your guidelines and guidance of your work. So, nasa gidya, take it a little more Washington D.C. change liaison office and more full embassy. And then, so I was traveling between Wisconsin and Washington D.C. And then the president asked me and take a poster say. So I ended up not taking the academic aspect, the more practical aspect of our diplomacy. So one incident that I went to practical and then academic law, I never did. And then from there, nakasel mo mereka temela kuniwo, and maanya tami ak merelo because the family matters. So, diplomacy, for me, it's an exciting area. Kung sila kumuring na blurbelang with the lendim laka system in place, you have to create system, you have to have people understand what you do. Because even with through training sometimes, no, that's not what it is. And so, aksak nga DC, in fact, the entire Ministry of State, I committed in Washington D.C. Katangat-tangat nga niya kita with relationship with the other party. Nga niya yung Foreign Service Institute and nga Virginia outside the greater Washington D.C. actually train our local U.S. diplomats. And so my tenure in Washington D.C. was able to work with Secretary of State, the office, and Municipal allowed other be allowed to get trained there. So, sa Lamay and Dakadilmay, the Club say, we ask them to come for a week, 2 weeks, sometimes a week or a month. Makmalay gali short-term dalong oklet tangani we do training with them in all aspects of diplomacy, from even to negotiations and even. So what I get is the Foreign Service Institute. It's the top line service education system for a foreign service. Lengania blila kalabus ringin ngania blilangaran oboringin set up like what would you do? Being a diplomat al pulkulbus na other belau, I need to make sure that make sure a treatment mo ringel other belau, same treatment telango. Anybody nga ansel say. And sa Washington D.C. na niya legal direct mo get even to almadaat lakaadal sa bel identify nga kawa as a representative in Gilel Moramor whatever it is identifies o yung other bela on there. Makti milululo siya will never be there like nga kamatagtadalip. So but luckily I never got there. Yeah. So go all those aspects. Staff forgive not to give start to smooth I got post ma office at home. Then of course at United Nations level. So I started setting up a training at another Ministry of State with the UN. Yung tanglat sa General Assembly, yung the alphabetical order mang next the Pakistan. So mga ambassador kamula man best friend. Ingi tigel ambassadors that does the training at United Nations. Makmal ko yun so I wanted to set up a training. Oh, lamay. Nangi one of the most impressive others sa Losada to UN dates, years, di over up to lul. Hindi ka lumesabok. So we were able to set up training at another Ministry of State, matamlil, telan Sunday, UN, kira New York, yung makalapit to New York and Washington D.C. went through all that training. To have them nganya better understanding at tira ay communication between outside mabalur belaw. Le sige dalalo mo na gal to ko na diplomacy ngora ni ultimo de selbuan niya makul maldi ng klol masang naktel halam holder ako bon marektir belaw. Makaso ande hamdi hindi access pol marektir malmol maldi malita hindi kal stop. Mga mnon nga I can understand ang yung game mo nung let's do this lang uspe a timeline. I gagi dia sel do wala ng memory and especially when you have to do international work, time requires for both parties. And at the UN, I was able to do bilateral year, yung bilateral negotiation and then multilateral. Sila may other by president, vice president, head of delegation, I have to sort those up depending on the issue bela interested rin. At talagang maduludo ni tele nuclear disband treaty. Wana edel duludo rin sabi dal ratify ni all bail, mabela militara the blue ratifies the disband treaty because of our history at nuclear. So mga niya igil multilateral set up nga oban trigal delegation of may malube nga ka alakal may nga ngaray gigid do, and then of course those get reported back in Merapal water below. So I will miss I got question and quite excited about them. But at the same time, I'm gonna just recall I get what experience at Tial, the early life for diplomacy. So hopefully, akora lang we get. More I get maybe that the diplomacy, chairman, kung wala mas kumanya karira beklo ave.
Uman misaule namini actually ang ara atara questionnaire was ngora rulal mo qualified ng artiat post ako na say for the last 10 minutes ako kora talgiban kora nas mo di same makpay aklabay mo skip per se the question di mal di ungil eleng important tarbalu abalo dingil wasing gamal taala di engara mamorse ak appreciate traigel kana kora o ay sabe bira challenges nga kakuktim la ko dingil the history lesson, setting up our first diplomatic post, the embassy in Washington D.C. Michael Cook challenges, let the face yourself time. Mang bay tiagita bay gora tia milu sele gorga swakam gora telgibel expandra tel enser ngar al tel babier Cook mulder sin may. Masingra akora momdasu mo gutmakli of Ambassadorial blur bela mora blur Taiwan. What do you plan to accomplish?
So lang Chairman, my plan is to make sure I get policy ra blur bela mora Taiwan policy may get existing program malamolam, and then of course sa klolurere kesa sumak mga tangat mapangal mo ambassadore ako to klolurere ambassador is make sure na I got a rule blue sending state mo receiving state all of us country amal mo sel put another long lel sel mimokol del will that it's my number one responsibility and I need to make sure that continue to establish. Hindi kita akludere de lo bangke la Taiwan economic any economic activity rablu belaw adoro lo bangke Taiwan from tourism to fisheries to agriculture and then we have existing program matokora health matokora education. And then, of course, reporting back and forth between Taiwan and Mabelao, I get po makwesel kumdasan BSL activity that we can pick up with Taiwan, I get report to Mera, a Minister of State, and then of course, a Minister of State, a muto do mga Presidente, a policy actually to the Office of President, pa-President ang Central Policy, mga Minister of State, tingi ay gaya meramam. Then ang kuldop ay gaya gaya policy ra, abulubailara ang silsil pulut kong haringay. In this case in Taiwan. So I have to make sure I get existing lurol berat araw pangkala belaw matawang ay gigida malamolom. Yeah. If I can make them better, I'll do them better. Yeah.
Okay, Roman Masaura in Sirakawa. And I would say it was a diplomatic mission kita ng Taiwan is probably the busiest. Lentiagi daul. At this time, at least at the 40 ngal garbelaw, ang araskura Taiwan real time. Maybe it's up to 50. So that's a huge population that has their own challenges, dealing with their education and coordination with the Ministry of Mofara Taiwan. They have challenges with that. And then at the same time, the medical referral program at any one given time, and there could be up to 20 other vela ng Taiwan. Either tangara ugurul or tangar sel mingil appointment tertir tangara follow up. So mal-active diplomatic mission compared to the 3 diplomatic posts actually 4. Washington DC, the United Nations, Siabal, Mataiwan. Isel Gomez ra cook operation Regar Rogul Embassy. Taiwan is probably the busiest and has the most challenges. Just the sheer number of students in Garsay, so I'm happy to hear acknowledge the responsibilities in the embassy. So akal kora mom dangali sel ngaral sel tial question, and I would like you to expand on it a little bit more. Kamnet tribal tatsingira earlier ngara kara mom das ngar alel ambassador in relation sel ngara blura Taiwan, in relation to the minister, in relation to the president, in relation more olvira kalulaw. Kamem koras modi sel understanding ngar sel while ngar alel ambassador ngar al sel atarablo.
Sulara malumi question sel niya close to tilil alel ambassador sel flora information. Real ambassador have to report the officer Minister of State the Palau, of course, from that to the president, and then the president el mer olveil ling ngani igel murerel igal kukim ngarngi mo require malaking olveil mal uben kukti for information aling ngania tele la other all being selected in an actual foreign service a local foreign service. I understand that in a egal cook democratical value was saying international ground administration domestic ground Congress, yeah. But Congress has to approve what goes out and what comes in. So information must be floating. Yeah, maybe Rablu and including ang abarda, sell it to the other Congress and Mera. Let's say more ang abarda, and make sure the sell embassy or Lora Palau for say, and make sure embassy subdi ambassador to Palau say, nga eko ay gagi the purpose. Is it official or non-official? Is it official and gel officer president na sa boris ng momsang orang lewlaw lola la president kada ko mo to kita at belaw ulola la president ya Congress na domestic. So that information has to continue to flow. Yeah, and this room magkutito na other all bill and mayang embassy had to scrum to make sure that agi understand the mom din sa ngarge. Say di kamamal mom tangali. If malas mo figure out to say private lomral ang official lomral. One example is this. Oblem private lomral ma ang kede blora wana blura Taiwan. It's saying mo niya kululting na naklel. Ang ginamal man niya sa magaragi po mo secure ka. Aurel ambassador your presence is Selbulua, you become mga alel. So every single citizen na Blue Belaw nga sa Taiwan becomes nga alel ambassador. Seldungun marwa that ko ambassador sa diplomacy immunity mo close to tlel. I get treat immunity residency material. Embassy is one of the biggest one. Sebelao actually becomes Palau. Hindi ka sabihin lang, ngiti nga so is for alsel. Na police. Mali sa other welaw, mali sa is for sel, Carencel Embassy, no touch. Yeah. And then mga ilala ambassador will deal with tingel off. So say it's a private citizen. And when it comes to diplomacy or diplomat, SL immunity kicks in when you become a diplomat, get accredited and accept accreditation or how. Hindi kasi mal diplomat, talakal Taiwan accept na credentials or how. Masel diplomat nga you protected by immunity. Ang akora mo trivial yang say kita ada lagi dalam memandangnya sel to the mga bulungan niya ada nga selong need your protection under ringi make sure ka protected yeah maul mang especially level congressional top we have to make sure leadership belaw it's treated right nga sel area treated accordingly ang ilal ambassador make sure nga sige whether in private or not yeah. So, but self-flow information, ako to tell, make sure kung kanya sa understandable sa Taiwan, kung kirel-kir ay issue na Palau Michael policy. The policy just kami administration.
Kaya man masaura answer ko, altamak mo te alan Mr. Senator Adlabe ilang nga rin ka rin.
Sulat chairman malugil litasil sa mereka namin ni Mr. Orrukem sulat chairman ng kal kukuram lo mention earlier na sa kamal lugil madangaling kal namin ni logi selguk komletal orol adalang rumbelpay makatekatal tayo makomlo ka tingira ay gigide nga ka ukting artyang o kaisel tiregal knasing ak tiregal mal madangaling galaf el guktiogi usel klaw other mamal as other belaw kung kanya rola magi mo kawat mang sekal tiregal knasing ngania conflict of interest nga kandi ako marak na setial process el doruri nga diakal not so much about nasing ada kamal ubeng kadomi engkal adal niya blaltat kya president almo sa pedel lomtera adra belaw ko nge malu kada dia kada ngi nasing ngase lomter bela ablur belaw ngara omter gidar adra belaw ngara ablur Taiwan for his casing ambassador mat ablur Taiwan mang question el buku kera dia kalsal kokora manla direkel timna ko tinga igal betol ko training ma akora education program al blam participate ra igal na omregal el time ra ko career ka e bai ko ramla en laitra doswek mangnal ko amna to question el gira to diplomacy Lektiregal esa Palawan aktiregal sokal make sure na siya adal momter nga kan mura Blura Taiwan malubenta abalu agirel understand agirel role ngi ma agel ngi agirel matmok mang diakal gora mo o siram dala blur belao malubel gora amo rultra other belal mo gora tautra ability ringil lom tergidel nga ay krel belao kausel mal mo makataklik na se kausel sumga mongol tat mga ambassador kamo wa obom head of state tel ngara ablura Taiwan makamo ko tong ngalal excellency di ka wa am president tel ngarsay el kamadala president ya presidenta ngia aptulula blur bela rogir maklo obrado tel ngara al oborngi mo malgire del maungil gora didi all mamdingek masing maral sa PML lom te ergid luaya se club margid el tingin sa president mang a question nga ka akna strike out tamal to question nga algira diplomacy ling sel last 10 minutes sel opening remarks nga ka manongil elaborate agero kul para tretela diplomacy makatbay dire ko kam na suba se sera suba letra at ko diplomacy mang di specific mo blura Taiwan kita mengek mla se blura Taiwan atara ko tel close to tel partner kita ta blur belao ta partner gi de since sera de establish a diplomatic ties lo bangele en mal betogol lungil nges logi o ngil go operation ergid en la muso el habla Taiwan al el consider ngik na sentara kotel close sa alid kotel kloa blal ngaswil mergida other belaw ma ablur belaw ngubrak na se president abol consider tial appointment ka ang adiregel no so I'll make sure na say ka well understand malubag well versed sa igel guk ngil palasira blur belaw mora blura Taiwan kausel guk lo mention na bebil di gumrak na sing ngani igel bebira talantingin la palasil koramo sensitive in a way ling kita mangalia geopolitics ra blur adeng at Taiwan adia kal lulungak kal tara blura UN kita ne choose mo o diplomatic partner ablura Taiwan le ko daw marar selguk values ada Taiwan ma ay gelguk klamara tir ma tokora human rights ma tokora freedom el kodosi su kada atter wada ang atter ay gel agumrak nasing tirgelguk le leader kita President Nakamura ma former Minister of State elang timing Speaker Anastasio House tigi selguk mle o singil mga blua Taiwan sel tamral decided masakad mo o choose ra Taiwan al mo ra as alid el belum eto milsa saygi del value ulwa saygi del luldaso kadmil ng alwal lulingil melmutre al time magang las momsisi saygi del relationship lo gidro bangela Taiwan mablura ada Taiwan mang hindi kita kadamar time ra kadoreng sa news ngani yigid kukora issues ra geopolitics especially within the Asia Pacific mang akmadengel klasesil subang mo ngaltat mo ikal amal mo brad ang alemel mo malboto pa igel sa emel maroon ma igel nekas emel maroon ma mo bomoro mo adura officials ma lubak mo igel meeting lo manggela official sa Taiwan gel direkal amal mo sedak na sa kamal mo ka article ay gel tol po maluka mal girem mongil makataladan mo mandi kal ko mo uleng tomal la kuk pebira malubang o sisipitra kuk pebira akti mul waise understand dara trial malkoning mang diso kal ngul lulusya maknasing given waise gidel tletal makyal palsil gidel mablo Taiwan ngara sel emel gukka di share gida yel kor oseng emel gida la amal mol mal el relationship ra blur bela la bangela Taiwan ngara gel mamdaswing kora maklol teletal el maluben tele auriol mamdasing si emel kora mo assure at belak mas o borseg ang maral sa emel ay gel ngil malamol malnges sobre audo dara la meskita Taiwan ra bekrak ay gel nges sobre tokora school ay gel nges sobre ma tokora hospital na ay gel guk nges logi wa tokora klakan ko da tourism ngara gel ba o mesik na sing sa emel mo wam improve maluba ko kurawam BL additional improvement mo na ngin program kirma Taiwan nga wata ka uklen mal girel sige da ko ako talgari sa emel ko di elaborate ko di in general you don't have to be very specific
so lang senator ng waise ngaringi. In fact, akblamit tulong kay Mr. State. Although hindi ka mangiltil mo Taiwan, but already in planning. Mangiltil start to plan. You need to plan ahead of time. I wonder, kung minsan nga, magpilito na Minister of State, existing program, or gidro ang kina Taiwan ang kanya education, magagidil health. So one of the first things that I'd like to do as kumangat is establish education attache, my medical attache. They on a daily basis, and they work on those areas. Attaches are close to the staffer embassy because they do a daily basis work specifically on those areas, and then we'll have our regular meetings. Shift ng mga tokora economic by areas, tokora agriculture, tourism. So I will have my own responsibility. And so I will make sure nga Attache get the look after those areas on a daily basis. Tourism maklo to tilen may the other below. Yeah, and I will continue to umisa tokora tourism makaltat makpong, and then of course sel ngia mo klol daraw sel tokor tel COVID akum na sige dia mo continual dialogue between Abelao ma Taiwan gidam la mo ngil open na as many than the what makes Taiwan comfortable and send other Taiwan al Belao. Once we establish that sense, and then ikadam astat sa other Belao, yeah, other say tourist Belao from Taiwan. Yeah, part important to tourist Belao. Agidin may actually spend out of the Belao. So that will be my drive. Elobangela existing program, and then mataka wide open lo meso sa ngania bebira ko opportunity ra area for economic is everything that has to enhance na ako to economic rabulor belao. Whatever I see, I get report in my official Ministry of State, and the President will work on those. Nindirakal sa mga masangara ibibid areas lang. Nindirakkal mes, and we have existing program, and I need to make sure those lang maklo to education na daw ng liluaseng klisi elabalo. Ang algeda labalo educated na klisi elabalo. Medical health, those pera tayo nga maklo to tilan may kita other belaw, kita other belad, other malubing kita mlamong araw kuro tayo. So it is an important area, And that's why we need to make sure that ngani are adal on a daily basis. It brut ay gigidulur. And of course, nga kalbin there, api part regular. I hope in the amnosable answer questioners. The silkuk area na baby ato ko raigal tell a little bit of attention and at time of course you have to be aware. The Taiwan Mabelawa has no relationship in terms of when it comes to any it's all economic. It's all because when we saw the question on ally ablolos pa egel blurang aramo toram pamadang taala na toram kamath. But in a normal terms, ally gid Taiwan ako missing it or economic. Say gid Michael existing program. I get attention a little bit of away from me. I get the driver represent takmura sang magrang lopeng kay Ministry of State nga ka reacted more I will not have any opinion on those, even though I'm given nervous and I'll have to just be smiling and be standing there. But at the same time, we get the other belaw because I need to kind of look ahead. Get the other belaw close target mo lang na other part ngani apart agreement together say and so mga kaya more niya trouble and you can run to the US Embassy. So say mo part work with US Embassy is there to make sure and so kung mo niya ko digel nga klel da kan sabi ng mga kasabakan sa akarikir ang nga ligid material nga hospital other belaw kada makaratir. That has to be in the back of my head. And I'm hoping that nothing gets happened. Yeah. I follow the news and thing. At times I feel okay. At times tight. Of course, I'm hoping familiar. So I have to think ahead for their safety and safety at the belong. I say. So I get a plan. Meet with Ambassador, Representative Rangabar. Reiterate to say that agreement if anything I take the citizens I need your help with, and then once that dialogue started, of course it's going to get communicated to the more Minister of State from the President.
Ya kabang saulak akmal lumilarong ko si tilal ngeral gilel tiang segidel lesadrong si segidek masaka oversee como madala blur belao looking into the welfare ma safety ma security tigel adadal tira ekora blur Taiwan ma tigel lukke kolo siga grul ma lukke kolo siga to yang nami ma ngidil ulet ada bela ekora blur Taiwan kawyamo o wam ngalem madala blur belal ngasel in looking into their safety, my interest material make sure that they are treated the way or other Taiwan, my governmental tiral 313. Sel direct el socal el dimension niya direct el kira omesra blura Taiwan el diakadil el democratic nation ko direct lo mesra ngil mal el prosperous tora economy ngila economy ringi es el malungila rungo ringi apnaseng tadirek el mal lungila health program martir seguir el health program martir un tir sel tial partnership de brigade robantrireng tamla amos il maski abtokol ngeso logi wa technical assistance al mara hospital regi material health professional sergi damla mo Orrukem trigal guk professional sa Taiwan en sep il guk elevate el level ra services ra tora urul mortir so adal mutumli continue me segi delen kada mangalya blura a Taiwan altara amsisi a tora urul ngi tora health system niya malungil so adal direct el wado kora mirror ay gidel lungil programmer tire o si collect na sa makarang with their partnership kada kuk establish maluba kada kuk create kay gid o si program ni Miral sa Blue Belaw adire kel dotong lil girabla Taiwan mal advance technology ti kita sadal dire kel kora move into a technological world mo utilize technology deliver services mga other blue not just in the government services madire nga private sector mang dire lungil dire baral da swem mal mga maangal tangat mga mo wol sa dire guk mamadala blue belal dire di madal da government private sector dire again mesel guk business opportunity lungil mo fitra other belaw mo si krole lego kum connectra other belaw connect tigel nga Chamber of Commerce engage tir mo create ang partnership lamang gala tigel guk nga Chamber of Commerce sa Taiwan umda sa gigida lugumong most of edel direct wado kora ed anel mora role ambassadorial direct sa elmal sa edel laseng kada maral mo capitalize at gigida guk dalawa gigida mablo Taiwan di so kal dimension ay gigida direct mal umrak laseng with your experience ability ka sa mga adu directly professionally lo bantiran ko modalat en sa emel gutmok lay gid ngaral mo akti kulay sa gid mutul mal laureng na sa mo sa emel mo o nga full confirmation na Senate gid telur sulak.
So lang Senator Kamlata chawan erel giblem kada no ka minister ngil black asking you was tel area education material ngalagyan del nga school Taiwan at tokora kultok tama tokora wana erel kun missing you was I thinking close to telal nga school it and can train their say the area medical maduro lobang gela get establish an hospital kida morning ang lagyan will actually get to their training like an hospital. Mga alatoba mga adak ko self-built trainer del hospital ginang maknit. Hindi nga rin again suwa PSL teletile pramujal academic discipline and moral actual setting. Say thinking kaya na Senator Quarter nga tiyang toktamang ako missing yun was say silang usay del experience ra elsewhere and when mititel academic material and when may it's more enriched del tokora education or tira tokora medical then when may belawel bora then gora wal di lo sisul teletile even management mong supedal enhance ay gayit so dahil kidawan area manda ka din medical ay gilbabit area na education and supedal daw siya ay training or say malupang iral sa building nga siya trained and mapuntelaliis tara al base schoolit el kaya neutral kaya ng Merbelaw so Consular na and then of course ang sumudang tangatun mo nga those are some of the areas that were tira local ventures but through Ministry of State so lang
Mansaura hensir kawel anamoda kagrila Senator labe lang kuram le na ol takat rin di aksalsyo di kildra ulalon mara vice chair ka meeting el kuklo kerakari
sulay sulay Senator Inawon ska ulawol Mr. Rumak mo tuwagera sesel ger adiaksal mo Melegasra andadale kadal amadaglia sel conflict exist ma ayamar el girel seguid ediwagel tilo lo hace esa diplomat kamladuli ikamomro rem less if you own it even if you disagree with it mga kartel nga meri ra Senate makmo owner ni as if even if I have a conflict. To the lulo se entry ramle diplomacy betel awngil exit travel direct ngara diplomacy. Makno review ayel koram le in between. Yung at least in 2001 al merelang. Ngari Western Pacific International Marketing and Manager. School Principal Airai Elementary School. Director of Bureau of Marine Resources, MNRED. Mergol Netaskal Momrurcel Bureau of Tourism. The testimonial blam dura beginning of opening statement were kukaging, they were very telling. Lang milsaudra art of diplomacy, with all due respect, Maria Bebira other direct ang na ama represent together somewhere else. I stand to be corrected. Di Bebira time ang gukti observation and it's an art. El gira del malmol maringi leng global goal. Madi gari le kasi during that time el gira del global el dadu and it's an art that you believe in all mag accepted yang. Kaulong maral wase jal tora diplomacy is critical. Maul magadi Krim long walu kaya merko kong era o selomlut kaya merakay tiro yung merko. Akto kaya kal waseng ngaraw the swim. Brakuk, yes, you're going to be ambassador somewhere. Asum ka mangay. Detail domestically. You're going to be as good as how the domestic affairs handle ako. Ngaraw opinion ako domestically. Ligirel tayo tora diplomacy.
Tiyato ko na diplomacy ra, kaya darak ko ra, aktirik sa ko doon ako minister a state, wisan ilgirel tal matawang, leng akul tanga tilinggal minister atar tirigel mera training, extended training, makmle asking na say we must improve our ground ministry. So we need to do training. And Koramle asked at the game lang was saying, anyone that's going to go out to represent Belau, I need to do some minimal understanding around diplomacy. At least na sil ngaral. Ma at least sil was say, makarang hindi ka pong abaliablo. I gave grounds that ngirel. So, Abela ospera talgipel either subel they get trained at other police. They also need to get trained. Luas ay makarang to deal with diplomats. Yang one no any diplomat na accredited at Belau. Sila to W Belau ang hindi kan sabi other sa airport siya ka kloklil. That's a no. The only time that they insist to check is that when they suspect something that's illegal. And so kumatam maruringi and then ngilo lo kadira one staffer sa embassy memang the or ngel and diplomat or to open a clock lel. Di so manyak you ngel agent wasik chaka clock them have to be very make sure ng madingel wasang balang nganyak mo orang klel. Say art that we have to adopt. Yeah, part of tell immunity. I get to allow embassy carry a functioning without disruption. Same in more host country, receiving state. And so those training must take place. Mapulis al stop a diplomat. El flash academy hands off. Hindi akan sabi magkakaroon ngel police, ngel diplomat. Albol or madam elbo siya at hindi akan sabi magkakaroon. They can get out more medical as soon as possible. The only time in sabi la police is service embassy is to save life, but nothing else. Si aerial we must do locally on the ground or Belau. Because in the morning embassy we have diplomats that come. Yeah, and then Ako mesrigid ng salamet diplomatic at other belaw ambassador na Taiwan ma ambassador ng party katamal mo malom ko tortil ambassador ablo belaw no. They're not ambassador ablo belaw. Kung mo tortil sila nga ng bar malanga Taiwan. Ambassadors tikal nga belaw. So nga niya hikel define line we need to do them. Yeah. And so I ask our Minister of State to say, please, let's help each other and get those training in place. For example, ablong apa ako tumsi ablong kal president ang apa ako tumsi sil ada ablong Selora lingkel protocol officer ng dulu na si Borsay, president tamu pul Morsay. Why? Protocol anam na sangram gayang say. No question asked. Hindi waya officially din ang award. Selora lang ang protocol officer lokal. And they must abide by it for their safety. So, kita blue balaw, we have no exception. We're Dr. Richard Blue, hindi that established sa ikay.
So, kung sa issue, kung dasweng, kung guktim le question ang aling, kita nga rin even though the Marula baby Aurora and the Maria Gil do Marato and one of the issue of diplomacy ado mesri mang anex Maria Madela tria next question no say Maria personal malibang issue problem ra lo ngila minister of state
Yeah. Minister of State o be honest and so I said ulit akala ulil was say you do the work based on your work. Minister of State, the confathering o daladala Lucy. So, ngira alwol mam alya isa kam alya kustap. Lucille o dalang ngira alwol mam alya benyam alak. That's how close it is.
Then mahugyan na question na kustap. Ako lagi alwas nga liya problem ra lo manggila Minister of State na kustap. Point ko niya si ang ariara al bilateral and dati mo nga outside you're only as effective as inside mo al sabi mo lo manggil nga Minister of State ang ahapin el Gustav di ko lang kulumol meche direkal nga niya question bring up niya maluwing issue bring up niya floor leader ito tora relationship with Taiwan. So yes, let's start the economics. The time and the also better denial was the adoral badula tel givel kora over the time. Like na mo mesa missiles and lol several sila belau. Your surveillance equipment ngar belau monitor al amal misisi al power ngar western mga akti kirikil ko kasi opinion na di kabom ambassador. What's the exchange? We know what we're getting from Taiwan, but what are they getting from us?
Ngway edal daksan sa wakan mo sohis for Alcel because my training as a diplomat, I tell the ang Attache, now they're recording this. Torang sa ngarahin si Ranggang, kamera Taiwan. So, ang core area, trigibal touchy aboksis for Alcel. Hindi, at Taiwan, important to make it because of economic. That's our bottom line with Taiwan. Yeah. And then, I get them, President Tangvar, the Governmental Asia recently. Sa coalition area. So that coalition, the try and whatever important to make sure those lines are in place. Yeah. Because individual level, kung tangatang question niya ka opinion na kay acti report back and mera obviously was mga attention, mga rang-rang. But my personal opinion, I have no opinion, is kita mtingin sa Taiwan ada member of the United Nations. Kita mtingin sa ngaraw ul makatangar sa kita through all of the Del bulur bala staying is this Your one vote is you're as big as you are. Yeah, United Nation. And so that's your flipping coin of that. Yeah.
Manel was sayidi ala chip lobang maulmang sayida exchange. Hindi ulak malol way sayidi. Ngara sel ne answer ko or sel questionnaire number 7 or sel number 3. Dilo say national security issues. Palau now has a national security strategy that recently developed in June 2022, which requires me to implement issues relating to Taiwan and Palau. Mauligar sayida kasi cell strategy is an open document. Everybody knows what ang said. Di question na kasi mla uiwi ikaw talwa sakmal mo implementing. Di question na kasi lendi ka bom ambassador. Ngariya problem ka development sa yidel national security strategy. Real ka di ka bom ambassador. How it was developed.
Hindi ka problem na ka part of social economic area niya of course hindi. But the other areas from time to time I get lolo president ay kaya policy president that I need to make sure en magatmokra approve Taiwan if aknot na nga more say with the Ministry of State. So hindi why get lolo ko earlier was saying regardless of what my opinion is, it's not my opinion. It's the opinion of the President, Minister of State, Multilateral.
Akmal understand or say the role of diplomat. So ulmawigir ka rin andir ka ko. Leng akukti ni from a personal perspective. Yeah, ako lumulolger ka art, ra diplomacy. Yes, I said that gidro ko ding art lagi. Question na kasi is a private citizen na ilang. Mla uwi sa yidel strategy del developer ni. I'm sure ka na research sa background rasen ta miruringi, ta miloseringi, how did it come about? Yung ramang security strategy open and more public. Makti o girakal wasi as a private citizen wasi our role at the either or area summary. Is it as open as this? O lang nga rin niya tol kukti algira del open and more public. Kukti di question na ko.
So lang naman yung question eh. There are question reason why I'm sitting here. So to answer that question now, sabal answer because it's not my kung mga katotoo ng lakararik esel ko tulong ulit ko I'll give you my personal opinion and I have my own on this strategy. Yung nga kami nga sa strategy yung nga ramda sa natin lang yung Coursera June. So I'm also not in position to enhance as I need to say what this strategy is supposed to do. Yeah. What I understand and have read on it, ako lang sa mga ringinapturo kasi ako say, how do I do it? The area of the economic, of course, those are established ground. Those other areas has to be a direction from the President at any given moment. Ang mo, what ilal ambassador nga say, good mo, regardless of my personal opinion, I will do it because that it comes from the heart. Yeah. If I open sa pekal answer a question ako.
Hindi lang answer la diplomat ang mga mission ni. Hindi ka borse makuligan ni raw. Timor sa gide check ko nasak understand the analysis ra anamini which is what I was after. Ling issues are change. The system ra analysis is important. Makumdasan kamla answer ka marinya deeper question nga was say are you disciplined enough to stay with your science with your art let's assume you're not worth getting there. So lang.
Malmisar trick question na kaya Vice Chairman and mal mawil tirtiringal namin ni Senator na po TL Orrukem.
Sulangi Chairman Attache malingilita silse Mr. Orrukem ang utak mal asule mal kilngira appointment ra President tamal lo spera ungil diplomat al mora blura Taiwan aleng mal sel long le la blur bela ma blura Taiwan mal bato ka kautel nasma da education ma health ma economics ma especially assistance ra al mora ang arasers balolam ara kukunge dara Taiwan technical mission bay kukunge da hitam ara atite tra Taiwan mang sigit sel wayal gora dalaela atel dalawil ma tingal bebia senator samla ogera igel questions el wal gora mal motmol el basega uga maral sa el malmol mga tmokartel dalawil el nganil angi imkaranga improver ngi ma aigel oblam msada mal convincing us el wasay el wasay ngara diplomatic responsibilities ra ka ambassador magi mal marenga sule mal sabem lo OTC mira Senate nakariga ko ra technical and daksal matangaya urira diplomacy ma kokoram le mention al wasing so humagamo ambassador ngungil el ngani Attache ra education ma medical Attache ma akura ategi nakarigaleng sel duk bara waruleng kura ngania walterul adal ngarsay imong ol nga sewar gidra warul ay imo nga ol nga sewar gidra chikarabilar gidra warula imo nga daw segeng lamu bal tablong mora healthcare fund administration or mang ngodi so kalmo banglia difference ra Attache matrigay gidra ngarsay mang yangara mang klotule al bornya medical Attache ma education Attache yangara difference tiral loader embassy mal el algo kaldi loader hospital sulang
Sula Senator malung question medical Attache already of course we need to define it was ang again more specific already and then ang baral to ko kita na Taiwan ang aning tigil nga medical say ma the basically well Attache make sure ng patient make sure nga niya ka rule nga hindi ka ang hospital that hospital that can provide ngarangal sa sel makaranga to make them comfortable as much as possible ngaray ke hospital that go beyond the hospital. I'm not saying that embassies gonna provide yes the kita makaranga make them as comfortable as possible, have a better understanding at through the language ma make sure that karira ngaring malmutel baby gel Attache gel loro lobentri gel kuk medikan ngase legal bolos pe ang sorry alsis for alsel ya alada ka minister state say we need to define them luwa say moko beyond their say because they usually go beyond their say I gal baby embassy na upload ada ang ani separate budget mo medical Attache no sa way gel kuram kaya ngarang but usually ay gel haraw at when they return back and mablurit haraw back and government I get embassy ulong seo I get book pipirablo set apple wise I'm not saying abela mo set apple wise lang hindi ako doon na budget at Taiwan and kita mo lang sa tase and beto ka aerial to madakteringi kada madingaringi kada makarang to help someone and make sure smeram tingin sa nga I'm here for you Attache is there for them the level ko give them a little uplift rato ko raktit defining as what it is adira ka po kim sa mamna sa kim kararingay yang ngani tigid existing ang ngaringay and hopefully that will be one of the area ang anak nila diragale to the school nga training ay gale internship internship but internship manggel medical attache actually become a staffer embassy they usually in attache and then you have the secretary and then secretary kam urang gale bibira mura deputy chief of the mission and then ambassador so attache JBL citizen na sel balumal ubeng citizen na Belao but when it comes to kuktora angkel awa secretary all citizen na gel bulong ari gigit ideal because they become a diplomatic to hold a diplomatic responsibility and then they'll be subject to immunity attache you can have a semi or no immunity you're only immune when you're doing your work so tel attache udasul girela we need to mold it make sure ng fit yourself ngamo redel and medicaling kadamdang ilang beto kay del areas that we need to make sure ng understood ingel ko as kung mamalmal wa sa ingel ko niya daw experience al nga hospital medical la understand sa nga ang redel sa labong do they have to work together they must work together and the one other lo pangel agilid same with education education na make sure ang lagyan continue to encourage the tirgil in warang grade 13 but education na close to tell us same area hope mo sa bel ko
Diyan malungila insirakaw hindi sila bilang Kukariya Ministry of State, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, mas scholarship office, sila bile kim senator sa gibong yung mal bato ka issue certi mo dalo ding lang sa ngaral ministry o nga certi makti kundi so kalmo understander sa igidi and then dekal malungil kam sa emal mabai auriora ulgum ka ambassador dekal ko raklo conflicter nga mandak sal malko tokol hindi mal almaring asulem umarang alwasya ka Aigal questions sa blam answer ko maigal blam adare experience ra ma education ra ka mal maskita clothing alwasya ating igal mura embassy kasi ba emalom teera blue bela malungi mak malmer nga sule mertel sa mera public hearing sulang
man masawra support kan mura namin ni Senator Inaboy Ngaria follow-up question lara Senator Vice Chair Senator Cuarte hindi maybe if I could help with the discussion on the medical attaché, my educational attaché. I think what would be ideal. We all know ngaria challenges rabura Taiwan, adal bora ugrulo ngaria issues will face. Marangaligat ngara school ngara issues will face. Hindi mga kaumarangan was sisin mo sa medical attaché or educational attaché ngal ada a step outside or still cook issue related to education mga scholarship or mga I get school, I get all other issues that ngel citizen Rablur Belal that has to do with dealing with staying in the Republic of China, Taiwan. The same goes for medical attaché. Of course, ang Maria coordinator, ang Maria utilization reviewer, and so forth. And I get issues in Metmura, Taiwan, or in Giril extend a visitor visa RT, or unfortunately it happens. Ngani adal maasmer, minggira talo papating ila adal may. Ngani igel bebira agencies, maruming departments, ra government ra Taiwan. Lamot even bring rengel kukongora ra medical referral, malubong kukongora scholarship nongar article ngar school, which somebody ngarsel under a diplomatic mission under the embassy will have access and more leverage and deal with agencies or departments or government at Taiwan. I think that's what you're getting at, or I'm giving you an idea. Lo se say kuknak girel kora ay direction gira to lo mesring anyway. Kaya kaliblan mga questioner ko, Senator Corte, kami. Ngakor ko.
Masulat siya ng maram na smoothie. Happen al experience yidra ahel da telibel kaya kamangata. Akmuhel da leko da blo di masadra awurul. Taiwan adi al aklisi el adi al ngaratora awurul. Ngaratora ahel da. Kung da sa sayida imara yel erial la gire del mo search was ta magarang help pergi dara sai dara hel malak da salvo tolls mera da send del morti kung na sa tulo lo ngila education Michael Bebil kung na sa sel lulgoria chairman was sa ulela attache agire mal mo bla takla lang ngal borot ng area instances where ministry of state lo interfere Lobangela, Yelu Pevira area which they should not be dealing with. Mangiru clarify, wasing wingarang, Aurora, the so single Guk representative medical referral ngarse, Agil Masadras Mayor. Engel Guk healthcare fund, Guk Tim Sada, although the ma benefit emergo. Matsumaria Guk Mara Minister State and Mo. Guk Losada Gil Bebira area, Wayal Bladunga. Chairman. Sel tawar training, makabulgul obong sel obong, alsum kamo. Chegal was it's an issue of a liability. Rather than mumbrut Ung yarung en tora language. Sel durdir el mo, mabibira nalgeda modak, they have to tadimel Mandarin or yel mo de also ir hindi al issue tel hensa ng issue la language bakti duli sa ida sula
last follow up ngara Senator on the bell
that ya mali mo last question na ako milingi mingira Dr. Corte Senator Cortel Mogeringi Gora simple question and then close to telel gerel for US nominee. Ogel klaseng wangara helder kau as a nominee wangara helder kau. Are you physically mentally able mombrurtial urior seguida al bebida tamar ada momdasek klaseng adal nga niya held issues ringi al talbong galeguk pol luule lakal sa PL deliver agel girel al ngar alel ang swada ngartiang mo ay sa other belauk masing ngara helder kaum tirgel guk members sa senate mo deliberate ra confirmation ra kaum bol direct bol nga niya al the swear say git masing condition ra helder kaum
ya ka helder ka it's good. Nga niya every 3 months I do our regular checkup. Tsaka rokuy. You say that dimral mo, so that's part of our getting to know ourselves. So bekale del buy lagi tsaka sa amin make sure that we're on the same page with everyone else at our age. So health is good.
Kaya gamal masaura igel answer mo raigal maring question namini Mr. David Orrukem. Kora omisar kalik sir nga kit tanamo pa aaw namo tiga karrile korkaw melak mate almisko mo korak mo last taklam be nga kamo osmra hiring.
Sauli chairman ra ang committee din kunya nga suluro ko vice maro ko members ra the committee ra akmani ko universal metal madami even though akmat nga kami nga niya relationship again in cell so the kalbang kami like capacity kami mental gibil ko ramo get intimidated yeah but you made this hearing very interesting and very enhancing nga ka alas diplomat over 20 some years ago. And so mga doon yaltuwa marami so is up to look. And they're dear to me because mga was include to tilala at diplomacy. So when I was asking Mortel Drual, I have to really think about it. Do I have any more energy to do it? Yeah. Adal marurol ko na di mikisel mo marurol. I have to prepare myself mentally and physically. Ma family nga more mo so is for ourselves. So we have to really think about it. Yeah. And at the end, no sa pagkakong kong president naman atel nomination na ngayon. Makman mga sulel for his trust on me. Man mga sulil na malungil hiling al talial sales. Nga ka akmal tangat makmangal mo tel trual promise mo sa nga kandi abok ababli ablur belaw. Based my experience, I get integrity amalmol ngani it's embedded in me. It's not going to change now. Na for tel post lang. So I will I gil blaktung akal tanga tumakport yal duruan ng malamol malwais yeah make sure I gil policy rabulur belaw may gil uspe ablur belaw lupas ka minister state always sa president ay make sure mo katmok and then time to time sharing information with our other congress rabulur belaw it's an important one because you need to know what say ay gagawin mo close to tilil balloon may balloon belawang katigil care of course with the minister said so akmaring ang suliw ng malungil hiring madangil ang siya Aurora takabul payot ng mamring and I'm up for the challenge yeah I'm up for the challenge and I'm hoping in the saying I can cook a more deliberation of kamiwa sabihin masaykel cook nga ka saudi gidal tel dro ale lang ni el altan mimik mo ti ale de chairman edik ka kurang asuli kurang asuli tirgal adam na mga lima na kami dire kalokam loklorong tirgal di bebirngak mga kabanura bluray rail Arigel tirok tirul girela quartel mun girela akabarno en teknik del musao del angandi di akmal mga sulil sa kwasa stili rokoy ing mal mo klorong kulungata ko teng mo sa vehicle share ay gal to ko na teldur alam na Taiwan and it's diplomacy mal to migat advela ng kita advela holding I said ko natural diplomacy kit unfortunately in the diplomatic world nga ay gel dodaring tinigil mal adapt magada wasagid ko natural diplomacy kit other belawal mo so is right kita adapt imal ko nga suluro ko again hopefully mo sa pekal answer ay gel niya questions sa kami mo o teatro ale mga sulit tinggal pekal adam le mga lima na kalal tilian sin sen direct mal mo kulang ang sulay labik supporter ngira kumal masaul
Man masaw loray kel closing statement sir ka Mr. Orrukem. Kokoram ne close mal last kokoram no mention rabi im. Belangan ya question nga kan mura ebil. Kau ready mo ban mura Taiwan? O koram mal thumbs up mal ready. Ngire kal korir se namini. Hindi kal se amil mong kora aloit. Mang gila lang kaniya support lo mong mang neswa kal nga kal chera kamiti mo understand ra a commitment ra ebi.
Chairman, alabay ko ay sara ako ra plango tutul ebi. Still educational attache, ako sa kamuro ready kamo duwo dila kabiik. Because of your background, kamo attache education. Makmano dara ko sa mga saya, tiya conflict mak. Hindi ka magsilubi na Ambassador Edward dara Marcel Mora UN. Of course, ay gal missionary dara UN na kadam kikadel balo mang abi ima mo nga sa mang Ambassador Edward abi iram letara ulba nga diplomatic position. Mang ako men sa sige dilo sa Theodore Ringil sa PL a background ringil for sa to education.
Ngora malungil, matya package still. Ma Akorati swagalaw ay sa kau matrigal milngani margal merahiring matrigal mo mesingi rawriu lulwas agamiti wal blal kuk release ngar alel al conduct confirmation hearing al gira lo amal kela president al gira man mo serve al ambassador blur Palau al mora blur Republic of China Taiwan after the hearing next sururela committee agut mukla committee report الموت المال موين دي او مال اقرا بابير include رايجل تقول ملسادر السيل ديال confirmation hearing رغا مر السلسل committee report يا اول دسولا committee او بات ديال مراولا را سنت را 3 o'clock رغا اون يرولو را next week say opening ra regular session ra Senate olvira kululaw madsaya kuraw daswel girela makura miska kura timeline ra aurele la committee dire kal swakal mention ra very highly unusual document el blood receiver nga committee edik pi aurele olvira kululaw araw kul confirmation rogul appointments the executive branch adi meramdala Senate ngurele la Senate by constitution di eliak na receiver mal interesting babia el mlara galik sir kamara House of Delegates el milus el meranga al chairman of the Committee on Foreign Affairs and State Matters a subject support of nomination of Mr. David Adam Orrukem for ambassadorship Alitiam nara House of Delegates, el meranga al chairman ng committee, loldar sa support on mora nomination ko. Edik luton mal mi city al babier, dia one page al babier mal to kawin to ko ngar alsen. Yamles saying ria speaker Sabino Anastasio, tera blur ngesar, floor leader Gibson kana tera blur ngarar, delegate Mangor lul tera blur orior. Ingel last and mal special. Ingel delegate travelura irai. Miss Piggy ingirat kak lekanay. Adira kam lesa ingirtial babier makkor adi mi isid mertial se kadalwasing highly unusual. Di akmo ka mga Senate kadira koloba support ra House of Delegates. Wadim leswa kal mentioner say and the aksam danglia direction ng kal president tergi de Mr. Orrukem. Wasitigal ambassador ngun tedi adra ira sabir yagi daungin bedengel wase ambassador gitu murasiabal abu irai rai makal namini adiral tarangal gela blu rai rai makura dingun mursegi yagomal mesaul beklad el attend the public hearing sulang